look like poetry to me. I've been meaning to tell you that, actually, but, things get in the way, right? Got a little bit nervous, even though I knew deep inside you deserved to hear it every single day. So, to make up for it, I handpicked a bunch of poems that reminded me of you. I'd like to read them to you, if you're open to it. Only good ones. Only relatable ones. It took some time to really find them, so you wouldn't be disappointed. Although who really gets disappointed when someone picks poems out, but you never know. Okay, good. I'm happy you're open to it. I will be ending with Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. I will read it as marvelously and magnificently as I possibly can. And if you hear any faint murmurings, faint vibrations in the distance, it's a very active evening tonight, but we will soothe our way through it. It's not going to be anything too loud or disruptive, because we're going to be in the zone anyway. So now let's just relax. And just take a deep breath in, pull your shoulders up to your ears, and then just let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Shake it out wherever you are, just shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Just getting nice and comfortable, feeling nice and good and embodied. Like you're in your skin, you're here, and you are ready to receive these poems. Okay, good. I printed them out. And we will start with Rupi Kaur. Rupi Kaur. Here's the first one. Are you ready? The universe took its time on you, crafted you precisely so you could offer the world something distinct from everybody else. So, when you doubt how you were created, you doubt an energy greater than us both. And another, do you not see how strong you are? All those times the world has forced you to your knees, and still you continue to rise. I have one more by her. Okay. To hate is an easy, lazy thing. But to love takes strength. Everyone has, but not all are willing to practice. How'd you like those? Could you relate to them? I feel like they're simple reminders of what it means to be human, and that's something that we forget quite often. We get so caught up with a lot of things that mean nothing, don't we? All that really matters is us here, our connection, our experiences, and our growth, right? The next cluster of poems, cluster, is by Christopher Poindexter. What a great name. I have not seen anything from him in a while, actually, but he used to always show up on my For You page, I guess, and he would present his work in a typewritten format. always really resonated with anything you put out, really. So here are a few. Sometimes I wonder, what more is there existing within myself that I should forget trying to be everything to someone or something to everyone, and just remember, perhaps the two most beautiful string of letters ever married together. Be. Just be. I feel a hope in me that the reason we all feel so heavy is that we carry a little piece of each other inside us. We like to complicate it, romance and love, and it is so, but I think one universal truth is, when you know, you know. We spend our days tossing ourselves from muse to muse, from infatuation to infatuation, often choosing the wrong person and getting stuck. And that's just part of it. But when you find someone who steals softly the breath from your lungs, simply by their passings by, someone who sends you into a universe all of its own, ethereal-eyed and serene, your eyes stumbling into the heart of them. You never return from it. You have no choice. It's not easy. It never will be. But it's worth it. That last one gives me like ground vibrations. Sometimes it just feels like a lot of passion and emotion and feeling really is missing from day-to-day life, doesn't it? Thank God for poets. Thank God they remind us. One of my favorite authors for her poetic language is Anaïs Nin, and I found that most of the things that I gravitate toward are observations here and there that she wrote in her journals or in letters to other people. Just her daily thoughts are so potent, and I thought I would share a few of them with you. And Anaïs Nin is not a recent author by any stretch. She was at large in the 1930s and 40s, but her words resonate in a way I've never found in modern day. They really help you feel seen, especially when you're in the throes of different creative endeavors, as we find ourselves quite often, don't we? Okay. I could not live in any of the worlds offered to me. The world of my parents, the world of war, the world of politics. I had to create a world of my own, like a climate, a country, an atmosphere in which I could breathe, reign, and recreate myself when destroyed by living. That, I believe, is the reason for every work of art. I had chills saying it. Why do we get Why does that happen? That's the signal for the next poem, if you didn't know. If you didn't guess yet, but, you live like this in a delicate world, and you believe you are living. Then you read a book, or you take a trip, and you discover you are not living, that you are hibernating. The symptoms of hibernating are easily detectable. First, restlessness. The second symptom, when hibernating becomes dangerous and might degenerate into death, absence of pleasure. That is all. It appears like an innocuous illness. Monotony, boredom, death. Millions live like this or die like this without knowing it. They work in offices. They drive a car. They picnic with their families. They raise children. And then some shock treatment takes place. A person, a book, a song. And it awakens them and saves them from death. Some never awaken. We're awake. One more from Anaïs Nin. I am an excitable person who only understands life lyrically, musically, in whom feelings are much stronger than reason. I am so thirsty for the marvelous that only the marvelous has power over me. Anything I cannot transform into something marvelous, I let go. Reality doesn't impress me. I only believe in intoxication, in ecstasy, and when ordinary life shackles me, I escape one way or another. Right. Just yes, yeah. And I hope you feel that way too. Let's get deep and profound now, okay? Let's turn to Osho. Osho. Have you heard of Osho? He drops some knowledge bombs, that's for sure. Some spiritual truths, that's Osho. Alright, Osho. One thing, you have to walk and create the way by your walking. You will not find a ready-made path. It is not so cheap to reach to the ultimate realization of truth. You will have to create the path by walking yourself. The path is not ready-made, lying there and waiting for you. It is just like the sky. Birds fly, but they don't leave any footprints. You cannot follow them. There are no footprints left behind. What? Next, Osho. If you love a flower, don't pick it up. Because if you pick it up, it dies and ceases to be what you love. So if you love a flower, let it be. Love is not about possession. Love is about appreciation. Full body this. Last Osho, okay? Start living moment to moment, totally and intensely, joyfully and playfully. And you will see that nothing goes out of control, that your intelligence becomes sharper, that you become younger, that your love becomes deeper. And when you go out into the world, wherever you go, spread life, playfulness, joy, as far away as possible, to every nook and cranny of the earth. To every nook and cranny of the earth. It's so true. It's so simple and so true. We can all make the world a much more enjoyable place if we're in good spirits. Spreading playfulness. That playfulness inspired me to follow this up with some Shel Silverstein. You must have heard of Shel Silverstein, right? Where the Sidewalk Ends was my jam when I was tiny, teeny tiny. And I don't think that I have revisited his poems since, so I found two good ones. One bites a little bit, hits you where you need to get hit, and I'll leave it at that. This one's called Diving Board. You've been up on that diving board, making sure it's nice and straight. You've made sure that it's not too slick. You've made sure it can stand your weight. You've made sure that the spring is tight. You've made sure that the cloth won't slip. You've made sure that it bounces right, and that your toes can get a grip. And you've been up there since 5:30, doing everything but dive. Is that you? Have you done that before? Have you prepped and never dove in? Because it's unknown. The water's deep and unknown. We've all done it. That's why Shel Silverstein is the best. Alright. This one is called Warning, which I feel like is a good amuse-bouche. Couldn't think of the word. Before the raven. Inside everyone's nose, there lives a sharp-toothed snail. So if you stick your finger in, he may bite off your nail. Stick it farther up inside, he may bite your ring off. Stick it all the way, and he might bite the whole darn thing off. Where'd my finger go? My nose ate it. Do you eat your boogers? I won't judge you. I never judge you. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon my floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book's surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly, your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared before. But the silence went unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore, Lenore, Lenore, Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though my crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore," startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken. "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet to sink divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er. She shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wrench, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe, from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether temptest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate, yet still undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil. By that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, who the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Did the bird take his soul? Who is Lenore? I need context here. First and foremost. I need context. Also, ravens aren't the devil. Ravens are cool. But I digress. I need to know what Pallas represents, because I don't remember that. I need to know who Lenore is. I need to know what a chamber door is. Is it a bedroom? What is Gilead? You're gonna have to tell me, because you wanted me to read it. I'm also so curious about your favorite poems, because other than wanting me to read The Raven, you haven't really shared any of your faves. Who do you like? Langston Hughes? Robert Frost? Maya Angelou? Kanye West? Please let me know. It's gonna keep me up all night tonight.